Welcome to Anatomy on Demand. This topic is going to be on the ventricular system of the nervous system and one structure that's found within it. So the first structures, there's two of them, each is called a lateral ventricle. And so if you look at the top left where we have a transverse section going through the brain, you can notice that there is this huge space that goes all the way from the frontal lobe back to the occipital lobe. In a coronal view, it looks quite a bit smaller because you can only see two small spaces, these things highlighted in brown. If we were to pour something solid into this space, it would look like these silver models here. So it's kind of like a Starship Enterprise kind of appearance, where you can see two huge wings on each side, and connecting to structures that are in the midline. So each of these structures on the side, they kind of look like ram's horns if you look at them from in front. Each of these is considered a lateral ventricle. So there's a lateral ventricle in the right hemisphere and one in the left hemisphere. And it doesn't matter where you point, whether it's the frontal lobe part, the parietal lobe part, the occipital lobe part, or the temporal lobe part, all of it is considered the lateral ventricle. And so this is normally occupied by that fluid, the cerebral spinal fluid. And from here, the cerebral spinal fluid will flow towards a midline structure. And this midline structure is the third ventricle. So here are the two lateral ventricles, and it flows here to the midline, the part in orange. And where the third ventricle is located is between the right thalamus and the left thalamus, so right smack dab in the mid-sagittal plane. So from above, it just looks like this narrow thing, but on the side, you can see it's covering like the duck's head and the beak area, so completely between the right thalamus and hypothalamus and the counterparts on the left side. From the third ventricle, there is a narrow tubular structure where the fluid will flow. So here's where the third ventricle is, and from there it goes into a narrow little channel which is in the middle of the midbrain. And this is called the cerebral aqueduct, which is kind of a misnomer because it's not part of the cerebrum. So the other real name is mesencephalic aqueduct, but since cerebral aqueduct's a lot easier to spell, you can just stick with that term. From the cerebral aqueduct, continuing inferiorly, it's going to enter another large chamber, this triangular area with the pons anteriorly and the cerebellum posteriorly. So this triangular thing, if you look at it from behind, two triangles make a diamond, which is why it looks diamond shaped in the model. And this is called the fourth ventricle. So think of the lateral ventricles as numbers 1 and 2. From there, it goes into the third ventricle, then the cerebral aqueduct, and then into the fourth ventricle. From the fourth ventricle, the next structure it enters is a tubular structure, which is going to go through the medulla oblongata, and that's called the central canal. And this central canal will continue once the medulla oblongata goes through that foramen magnum and becomes the spinal cord. The central canal will continue the entire length of the spinal cord. Now, as far as the associated structure, that is something called the choroid plexus, which you'll learn about during lecture. And the choroid plexus is located in all 4 of the ventricles. It's quite large, as you can see highlighted here in the lateral ventricles, but it's also present, albeit smaller, in the third ventricle and the fourth ventricle. And the importance of the choroid plexus is this is where the fluid, the cerebral spinal fluid, is made. And so when you look at it sitting there inside the ventricle, it really doesn't look like much of anything. Kind of looks like wadded up dirty single-ply toilet paper. Okay, so that's it for the ventricular system. I want to thank you for continuing to work hard, and see you soon on the next video, and always see you in class.